as far as I know, they're well established in many universities, and they have a lot of members. So I would like to welcome them, and we would like to hear about your club and your projects. Thank you.
Hi everyone, thank you so much for having us here this morning. As most of you know, my name is Selin, but at Enactus Capilano, I am the Vice President of Corporate Relations.
And my name is Ryan. I am the Product Manager for Square One. We'll go into what Square One is all about and a little bit.
Yeah. And my name is Kirsten, and I am Enactus Capilano's president. And so before we get into who we are, what we do, all of our projects and everything, we want to show you a quick video just about what Enactus as a whole is.
Enactus students are over 70,000 strong, spread across 36 countries, working on nearly 5,000 projects annually. That's over 5 million volunteer hours, impacting the lives of nearly 2 million people. In Canada, our network of over 3,000 students comes from close to 70 campuses in all 10 provinces. Enactus teams plan and develop initiatives that go outside the classroom to improve the livelihoods of real people in the real world. Projects tackle economic, social, and environmental issues, leading to hundreds of projects with no two being exactly the same. Annually, these diverse and dynamic projects directly impact over 30,000 people, create over 600 new businesses, and divert more than 75,000 metric tons of waste from Canadian landfills. Projects tackle multiple needs at the same time. Students in British Columbia have started a project that employs recovering addicts to upcycle coasters into beautiful greeting cards. An Enactus team in Ontario is working with a major food company to turn waste into environmentally friendly packaging materials. Students in Nova Scotia have established workshops to help refugees integrate economically and socially into their new lives in Canada. Enactus students in Newfoundland designed an inexpensive hydroponic unit to grow desperately needed fresh food in northern Canada. The units are manufactured by an organization that helps at-risk youth, giving them valuable job experience and a paycheck. The project is run like a business and anyone can buy a unit, but the profits made are reinvested to subsidize food grown for the North. These stories come from the hard work and dedication of Enactus students across our country. And here's how we make it possible. Each program is established with support from a faculty advisor and community mentors. Enactus organizes and provides training events and personalized support to develop the teams. Students take entrepreneurial action to empower people to improve their lives. A series of regional, national, and global competitions encourages creativity and rewards results. Once a year, the most innovative and influential projects from all Canadian Enactus teams are put on display at the Enactus Canada National Exposition. The winner is named our national champion and goes to the Enactus World Cup, where all 36 national champion teams compete by presenting their most compelling projects on stage in dynamic 17-minute presentations. For over 15 years, Enactus World Cup has been hosted around the globe, bringing together thousands of current and future leaders. All Enactus events focus on 3 areas. Just like in business, we believe that competition leads to the best results and the most creativity. These events bring students together like nothing else as teams compete to share their most impactful and insightful innovations. Students have the chance to collaborate with other change makers and enjoy a curated interactive dialogue with global business leaders on sustainable change. Students and business leaders celebrate the diversity of culture, abundance of ideas, and cross-generational leadership in action. Through business innovation and social enterprise, Enactus students and business executives around the world are working to accomplish the 17 United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. This is business innovation for sustainable solutions. This is entrepreneurial action for a better world. When you join the Enactus community, you align yourself with our global network of top student, business, and academic leaders, and you invest in a better world for us all.
For positive change, and we have over 70,000 students in Enactus globe. And all of our Enactus teams are student-led, and we all have the same mission of identifying a need, whether it be in our community or on a global scale. And then we find innovative solutions for these while also using the United Nations 17 Sustainable Development Goals. It's a long word, several words. So personally, I joined Enactus because last semester in spring 2019, my professor approached me. She's also our faculty advisor. She was like, hi, there's this thing called Enactus, like look into it. And I was like, okay. And I didn't look into it for like a couple months. But I eventually looked into it and I was like, okay, this is amazing. And then as I got to know the team and what Enactus actually was, I fell in love with it and it became my second family on campus at Capilano.
Yeah, so for me, joining Enactus, it filled a lot of need for myself being within university. I'm currently working on my second degree. I did a Bachelor of Arts, and then I went off and I worked for a while in business for about 5 years and decided that I wanted to go back to school and get a business degree. And so when I came back, I knew I wanted to get involved in campus. I knew I wanted to be a part of something bigger than myself, and Enactus really filled that need and made sure that I was finding a community that our values aligned. I wanted to make sure that I was making a positive impact on the community and on the globe, and I wanted to continue that into my career. And Enactus is enabling that for me within the university, but also there's a lot of opportunities of leaving university and when I go into the workforce through that as well.
Yeah, and this is my first year with Enactus, so I joined in the spring. And my reasoning for it was basically the community on campus, as well as the community, the impact we have within the North Shore, NBC, and ultimately Canada. Essentially, there were some friends that I had that were part of Enactus. I joined because of that community, and as a post-secondary student, making an impact at that scale that Enactus can do was just very appealing to me. And I didn't feel like I had the opportunity in other areas, so I joined Enactus, and it's been nothing but amazing experiences. So we'll talk about a little bit about my role as well, project manager for Square One. We'll talk about the very beginning Square One. This is our third year of the project, and as always, we go through a needs assessment to find our projects. So we did a survey, and it was conducted throughout post-secondary schools on the North Shore, and we found out that of financial literacy, only 40% of post-secondary students were graduating with the skills that they felt they needed. And we felt like this was something we could improve. Only 40%, and we wanted to push that up to 90+%. And even myself graduating, and I think we can speak for some of us as well, we didn't feel like we were taught financial literacy skills that we needed to go into the world. We kind of had to learn from our parents or experience. So we want to equip these students with those skills necessary. So we went with the RBC for our first summer, and we built basically a program for 5 workshops covering topics such as budgeting, taxes and savings, credit, life skills, and career development. And we piloted it with 2 classes at Walgrave. It was very successful. We've actually been growing every single year. So in the second year, we grew from that, and this third year, we're in Mosscrop, Sutherland, and Argyle. Over a course of 11 classes, we're going to be impacting about 400, 500 students. And the way these workshops are led, there's project representatives, so there's 13 of us. We go into these classrooms, and we call them workshops because it's not us lecturing. We're not just telling them what's on the slide. We're working with them hand on hand, having activities, little projects that they can do in class, videos, so that they can have the most learning experience from it. There's a lot of questions asked, a lot of interaction, and really we feel like this is the best way to work with them, hands on hands. And since we're growing, we're also working on some scaling projects we'll talk about a little bit later. But the idea is we're growing every year, which is amazing. So we're getting more project representatives, more ideas, and we come back every summer with RBC, who have been amazing. And we keep revamping the schedule, keep making sure all the content is updated, relevant, and useful for the students. And we also do this metric survey for Enactus from the competitions. So we do a metric survey on the first workshop and the last workshop. So we see the growth that the students have to see if they've actually truly learned and gained some of these skills, and it's been positive. We have seen that 90% plus graduating and leaving secondary school with the tools that they feel it's equipped. So we've definitely bridged that gap and made that change. And essentially this is also not just secondary school students, but also for anybody. So we're going to talk about expansion as well, a little bit of what we can do with that.
So this year we found that we were looking at what we were doing at the high schools around Lower Mainland, and we found that we were being quite successful in what we were doing, and so we wanted to expand and find new communities that could benefit from this information. We wanted to ensure that everybody had access to proper financial literacy skills, because it's obviously, I mean, it's incredibly important. There's news articles happening basically every year talking about how people are growing up and they're not learning about how to budget and bank properly and use credit and all of those different things that are so vital to be successful in our communities. And so we identified 3 different areas that we thought would benefit from this information. So what we're going to be doing is we are going to be working with RBC as well as these communities to update our programs to make sure that they are the most beneficial. And so those 3 communities are, the first off was we're looking at individuals who are in treatment for addictions and are coming out of their recovery centers. So we're going to go in and talk to them because obviously they're facing a lot of barriers. We want to make sure they're set up for success. Relapse rates are quite high, and one of those reasons are they face a lot of barriers coming out. You've been battling a disease for a long time, and so you want to make sure there's as much support as possible for those individuals when they're finally leaving these treatment centers. And one of those barriers are not understanding how to get a bank account or deal with credit properly, having massive amounts of debt, potentially having legal problems. So we're going to be working with RBC to try and help them make sure that they're as successful as possible. The next community we identified were youth in care. So these are individuals who were connected with either child protective services or with family services or were within the foster care system. And so we're trying to connect with that community. We're linking with United Way as well to talk about how we can best help those children in different areas. They do have a bit of a program already, and so we're looking to amplify that program and make sure they're all successful when they do age out of the system. And then the last one that we're really excited about, and we're currently working with a couple of individuals at our university, is the First Nations community on the North Shore. So we are right now connected with 2 individuals from the Squamish First Nation. One of them currently works for an organization that helps their members do upgrade and training and to get back into the workforce. And the other individual works for the band council within the HR department. And so we're also connecting with our large community on campus. We have a very successful faculty and division within CapU that works directly with our Indigenous community. And so we're connecting with them to see where we can help out and how we can bring this information to that community. Obviously, you guys have all probably seen the news articles that have been coming out about what happened with BMO recently in Vancouver and the First Nations individuals there. And so there is a long history of mistrust when it comes from the First Nations community and the banking systems. And so we're trying to bridge that gap and try and set them up to be successful. There's a lot of barriers that the majority of us aren't even aware of that they do face. One of those being that if you're looking for a loan, if you live on the reservations, you don't actually technically, even though they do own their homes, they don't technically own their homes, so they don't have the capital they need to get those loans. So we're trying to set it up because the way it all works is the band owns the homes that are on the reservation, as far as the banks are concerned. So we want to make sure that we can set them up to be successful and find ways around that to ensure that they can open those businesses that they're looking to open and be independent and be as successful as they possibly can. And so we're working with them to indigenize the program and to bring it to both youth and adults within that community. So we're very excited about all these different opportunities. As well, this organization with the Squamish Nation, they are connected with all of the First Nations band across BC, so there's an opportunity to expand throughout the province. On top, sorry.
Oh, you go on,
Yeah. And then on top of all of those things, we have 2 other projects now. Before we move on to that,
We'll move on. I'll piggyback a little bit on the expansion, because as mentioned, we're growing from classroom to classroom. We're now in 11 classes, 3 different schools, all those exciting opportunities that we have as well. We're also wanting to transition online as well. So we're going to put a lot of our material online in an app form and a website form, because right now we are predominantly actually only in the Lower Mainland, and we feel like we can benefit greater BC, hopefully expand across Canada, but it'll start locally in BC now. So by putting our material online, we feel like we can reach Okanagan, up north, Vancouver Island, with this project as well. So we're trying to broaden our horizons, reach a broader audience as well, because we feel like many people can benefit from this. I did realize that I mentioned financial literacy, and you might know the term, but I'll actually go in a little bit more depth of what material we truly cover. So we cover budgeting, so we cover the importance of budgeting and how to do a budget essentially. There's 5 steps we talk about. And budgets can be a simple template for everyone, but they're also personalized for everyone as well, based off your needs, wants, and we talk about all that as well. Talk a little about savings and taxes, so essentially what taxes are, what they do for you, and also how you can get around by paying less taxes through RSPs, TFSAs. We talk about savings through different investment vehicles such as mutual funds, GICs, stocks and bonds, all that kind of stuff. We also will talk about credit and the importance of credit and also the dangers of credit. So the importance of building a good credit while you're young, not trying to dig yourself a hole, and essentially get ahead as well. And also talking about credit cards and the importance of that. Lastly, we also do a career development workshop, talking about LinkedIn, because LinkedIn's a very important tool now. It's for most employers, they always look at your LinkedIn. We talk about that, building a solid resume, interview etiquette, all of the above. So They cover a lot of different financial topics, and we keep revamping every single year to see what we can add to improve. Better.
Yeah, perfect. And just, I realized I didn't mention this when I was talking about working with the First Nations, but we are making sure that when we go into the Indigenous communities, that we are working directly with the individuals from those different bands to make sure that we're being as respectful and considerate for them as possible, and that we are actually providing something that will be helpful, and we're not just trying to push something on them that ultimately isn't going to help anybody. And so we're considering all of those things when we're going into all the different communities that we serve to make sure that it is as effective as possible and that we are making a positive impact in those areas. So on top of Square One and the expansion that we're also looking at, we have two new projects that we're currently working on. One of them is building a community on the Capilano University property. So basically, as you know, Capilano University is a smaller campus. It's quite transient in nature because obviously we have a small residence off campus, but we don't have a lot in terms of community building. So we're taking that on and we're trying to make sure that there is a space for people and through that improve the mental health of our students. And then the second project is we're taking on single-use plastics. So we're looking to ensure that we're increasing our sustainability within the campus. It's already something that's really important to Capilano University, but we want to make it even more. So the primary thing that we're looking at right now are coffee cups, because of course coffee is the lifeblood of every student on campus. So we're trying to make sure that there is a means for people to get their caffeine fix on a regular basis without creating additional waste. That project will then expand onto all single-use plastic on campus as well, and we're really excited about that. And all of this work is being done by a team of approximately 30 students at Capilano University.
Fantastic. So very exciting news. In about a month, we're leaving for Calgary for regionals, where we'll be presenting our Square One project in front of several teams across Canada, as well as judges. I believe you saw a bit of that in the video. That was nationals, and the World Cups. This is regionals. And then we have a pretty good team this year, so I'm hoping we place. And then also on the agenda is nationals in Toronto in May. I'm losing my voice. In May. And then after that is World Cup in the Netherlands in September. So thank you all so much for having us here this morning. And does anybody have any questions? Yes.
Do you have an opportunity in doing your community outreach to partner with other organizations? You've mentioned First Nations specifically, but I'm just wondering, you know, if you look to when you're looking at kind of social responsibility, corporate social responsibility, if you're looking to other businesses or other organizations.
Yeah, so like Brian was mentioning, we are partnered with RBC currently working on the financial literacy side of our projects, but Enactus encourages cooperation between different communities, different companies, organizations. We apply for grants on a regular basis. We get funding from different organizations as well for these projects, because obviously nothing is free. And so, yeah, there's lots of opportunity for partnerships, absolutely.
It strikes me that the work that you talked about that involves working with recovering addicts post-recovery programs is a classic example of social responsibility, you know, and that's something that would really help to build your brand as well. Yeah.
I got a question. Like, you're concentrating on minorities, right? Like, so I think there's a big opportunity for you guys to do the majority of the school, because one of the things that I find is that there is no financial planning in the schools, and I think that you're missing a big population base. You should try and aim at the general population in the school, and I think that you would get a huge amount of people wanting to listen to what you have to say, because there's nothing like you're doing around. Like, I have 2 children, they have no financial help except what we were given, right? And so, like, and then a lot of parents don't have that themselves. So I think that the general population is what you should actually head for, because, you know, and then the minorities will come.
So to address that, we have that in our sights, let's say. So through the high schools that we're currently in, we are addressing a number of those populations, but obviously we're limited just with manpower. It takes a lot of people to run these workshops. So like Brian was talking about, we're looking at creating an online system so that we can do workshops virtually so that we can maximize the number of people we can impact. We can get to the general population as a whole and access all of those people directly through online systems, either through doing Facebook Live runs or YouTube workshops, and then we would plan on going into those schools for a couple of the workshops so that we're not limited by just the number of people that we need to run it. But there is a plan to expand into as many schools as we possibly can in the area, absolutely.
You're working in, the schools you're working in now are the general population of
Yes.
students, right? It's not minorities in Mulgrave and Argyle, or wherever
Yeah.
else you are, yeah.
Yeah.
So they don't provide this as part of the grade 11 or grade 12, what is that course that's sort of like
They're-
career prep or,
Exactly. They call it CLE, so Career Learning Education, I believe.
Yeah.
Similar to what planning was, it's just a different name for it. Exactly.
Okay.
Course. So yeah, it's CLE 10 and CLE 12.
are you part of that program?
Those are the programs we're part of.
Yeah,
yes.
okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So it used to be part of the regular school curriculum, but it no
It
longer
fell off.
is. Is that the case, Ryan?
From my understanding, there's a bit of a bridge in the gap that we had to for. So
Yeah.
we're putting quite in depth with financial literacy topics. We have 5 workshops. That's kind of what we advertise. We have condensed it down to 4 for Argyle. We can do that as well. So it's 4 workshops that we go in, lots of class time, and we go in depth with all of these topics. So I do think that we go more in depth than what I used to do. If that's
So how would the work that you're doing compare or contrast to what the work that, say, Junior Achievement is doing? Do you have any idea?
I haven't heard of junior
Yeah,
achievement,
that's-
no.
So that, if you've not heard of it, I'd recommend that you find out
Yeah.
what they do. They've been around for a very long time,
Awesome.
and they are involved in schools as well, but perhaps not to the same
I
degree.
think are they a marketing?
They teach entrepreneurship.
Yeah, I
they
had that in
conduct
my
workshops,
school.
they-
Yes.
Yeah, so, and
Yeah.
they teach kids how to design business plans
Yes.
and, create mini businesses, and so it sounds to me like would be a really nice fit
Yeah.
if you did things together.
That's very good.
Yeah, so we did, Enactus had an old project that we recently retired because it became self-sustaining. And so it was called Counting on Action, and what it was is we did exactly what Junior Achievement, and I believe on the North Shore and in Burnaby, it's called YELL, it's Youth Entrepreneurial Leadership League, I believe. Anyway, so we went in and we were teaching entrepreneurial skills, how to write business plans, all that kind of stuff. And actually that's where Square One came from, was because we had a portion where we were talking about budgeting and
Nobody knew how.
they had no clue. And so we realized there was a real need to expand that part of it, because we were getting a lot of questions about like how do you deal with credit cards and banking and all this kind of stuff, and we're like, oh, yeah, no, this is something we need to address. So yeah, it's an expansion of what those organizations are doing, and so we're going farther in depth into those areas. Yeah.
Great work.
Wow, how exciting, right, to see young people that identified the need and filled it. As in fact, how about one for seniors? I can use one of those workshops for doing on budgeting. Anyway, thank you, I'm so impressed to see how you not only identify the need, but you put it into action. And we've been involved in this club with the planning program, or what we used to do an ethics and values workshop. And I just think it's so fantastic that you are out there, you're always thinking about other things too, so, right, you keep adding other things, and so if there's any way that we can support you, in terms of facilitating workshops or whatever, you let us know, okay?
Absolutely.
But
Thank you very much.
very exciting, I'm always encouraged and inspired by what young people are doing. Gosh, when I went to high school, all I cared about was what was I wearing for the next date, right? How life has changed, right? So congratulations on your leadership. That's what I think is so fantastic. And you're such fast talkers. You're my kind of people.
Yeah. One more thing. I believe Chris has a question. Chris always asks the critical question for, please, yeah, go ahead.
I just wanted to ask you, what is your budget for the program? Where do you get your funding from?
So a lot of our funding we get, so our funding for travel, because of course we need to get all of our team to all of the competitions. So a portion of that is covered by the university. They pay for a fraction of travel. And then for the projects themselves, we apply for what are called project accelerators. So through Enactus $5,000 this year from RBC, and then we also do another session with RBC in the summer that we are granted $5,000 for that one. So that's currently where we're getting our funding, but obviously with the expansion and looking at different opportunities there, we're going to need to look at other areas for funding and opportunities for grants and all of that.
For
So,
example,
yeah.
when you go to Calgary, all those expenses you are covering from your own pocket? Yeah.
The students are covering a portion of the expenses, and then Enactus from the grants are trying to cover, we subsidize some of the expenses, because of course, travel is not cheap, and students are not well off while they are in school. So, yeah, we try and support as much as we can, but obviously, it's, you know, it's a need, for sure.
Also, Selin mentioned to me, but I don't know, maybe you can be support to our Rotary Right for Rescue to be, we need
Right.
volunteers, and Selin,
Yes.
June 13.
Yes. We have a marketing.
And you can send one rider to
Yeah.
climb the mountain with the Enactus logo on it. Will be really cool.
All right,
Yeah,
well,
that's a cycling.
Cycling, yeah.
Ryan?
Everybody doing their best time, but for the males is 36 minutes,
Wow.
and the female 46 minutes is really
Yeah, but
amazing.
some take
That's
2
impressive.
hours.
Yeah.
Yeah, not everybody.
Yeah.
Normal, a good rider, it makes 1 hour, 15 minutes is still good number, is
No
right?
pressure, Ryan.
Yeah.
It's a pure uphill, I know.
Yeah, that's the, yeah. To make it happen is really a challenge, you know, yeah. If you have any rider and they join, will be really good. And what we can do, we are discussing to do that. You guys help us to raise money with your rider and the support, and we can maybe find a way to, you know, share the revenue something for example, if someone come from the Enactus and write and raise money, and you know, for example, there are a couple of other institutions we talk, and maybe they're planning to do that, and we can who done that pledge, we can maybe give a certain percentage to the club as a Rotary donation.
Excellent.
And this other goes to the North Shore Rescue and the RCMSR and the International Project. Thank you very much. It's very impressive presentation. Thank you.